Hey guys, how are you? I'm good, thank you for asking. It is Friday, December 9th, and I am failing at Vlogmas. I just, it's gotten busier than I thought it was. Plans have changed. The baby is sick. And I promise, I look like I've been crying. I have not been crying. We've not been sleeping because the baby is sick. Low grade fever, wakes up every hour and a half to 2 hours. So we haven't slept amazing in like 2 nights. And 2 nights isn't that bad, but I look horrible because of it. And we're all fighting some kind of cold. So I've got a scratchy throat. John's got stuffiness. Yeah, so I don't know if the baby has a tummy ache or teething or what, because he's still nursing. He's still having good diapers, so don't worry about him. I just know if I take him in, they'll be like, hey, there's nothing we can do. So, you know. Anyway, I wanted to do another segment of Why Jessica's Crazy. No, I don't know what to call it. Story time, sharing my past. I don't know, but I kind of go through and I think like, well, what am I comfortable with sharing next? And this time, and I'm waiting for my husband to come home, so I might have to do half and half and then put it together. He's working an extra shift tonight, and he's supposed to be coming home for a late dinner, to inhale a late dinner real quick, but I don't know where he is, so he might walk in at any moment. But anyway, so I want to talk to you about being adopted and meeting, and maybe, depending on how long it is, meeting my real dad. I am only adopted by my stepdad. I have a biological mom and a stepdad, and a biological dad and a stepmom. But she and I are not official because I was almost an adult. Well, no, I wasn't. I don't know. We're not legally adopted to each other, but she's the coolest mom a person could ever have, so that's fine. But anyway, so I remember I was like 2 or 3 when my mom and stepdad got married, and I remember being in a courtroom. I didn't know at the time it was a courtroom. I had no idea what was going on. I just remember looking up at this lady that was in this box, and she was asking me questions, and I was answering her, and that was it. And then that night, they put me to bed, and I remember my stepdad asking me, why did you tell the judge you didn't go to school? So I had to have been like preschool or something, right? Because 3-year-olds don't go to school. And I was just like, well, I don't go to school. And he was like, you're homeschooled. And I remember that. So that's like the first time I heard the word judge. But he did legally adopt me. He's on my birth certificate, which is horrible because that gave my biological dad no rights whatsoever. He couldn't look out for me. He couldn't do things for me. It was horrible, and I can't change it because it's my birth certificate. It was given his name. It would have made changing my name hard. Oh my gosh. If you can be at all amicable, don't do that. I guess unless it benefits you, but it didn't benefit me at all. Or I don't think it benefited my mom either. But anyway, fast forward to when I was 12. And I'm sorry, I'm going to try and hold you with this hand. And I was in the bath. And I don't remember if I was close to being done or I was done, but I remember my stepdad coming and knocking on the door and saying, hey, your mom and I need to talk to you. Come downstairs when you're done. So I got out of the bath and I dried off, brushed my hair, whatever, put my PJs on, and I was in my pink Avon slippers and pink Avon bathrobe because my mom worked for Avon at the time, and I would not be caught dead in a bathrobe nowadays, much less a pink one, but that was cool. And I remember walking down the stairs and sitting in the kitchen, and they were both in the kitchen, and my dad was across from me at the counter, because the kitchen was like, oh, how do I do this backward? So you're sitting, like, pretend you're sitting at the table right now, and you're in a little, like, window alcove, and then you're look straight, and you're looking at the oven, and on your right side is a counter and the sink, and on the left side is, like, pantry, fridge, counter. And then there's, like, a door here and a door over there. Anyway, I was sitting at the table, and my dad was at the counter by the sink across from me, and my mom was sitting across the table from me, and it had 4 chairs at the time, or 6 chairs, but I was at the end, and she was at the end. And I remember them telling me that dad wasn't my real dad. That when I was little and they got married, he had adopted me, and I have a real dad out there. I don't know what prompted this. Like, she's in the bathtub. Let's tell her she's adopted. I don't know. I don't know if something happened and they, like, freaked out and were like, well, we better tell her now, or if they just, I don't know. They never said why they told me. They just decided to tell me. And it was just pretty basic, like, we need to tell you something. That dad right there standing in front of you is not your dad. That dad is your adopted dad, and you have a real dad, but you're not allowed to know that dad. That dad is not a very good person, and you're not allowed to know him until you're out of our house. You're an adult and out of our house. Oh. Okay. So what's a 12-year-old supposed to do with that? Like, I don't know why they told me. So, fine. And of course, then, you idiots, not really, that was disrespectful, I'm sorry. But seriously, when you tell a 12-year-old something like that, and then you say, but you're not allowed to know him, like, don't ever tell a preteen they're not allowed to do anything, because what do we do? What do we do when we're teenagers and pre-teenagers? We do it anyway. So, I started asking my grandma, and she kind of fought with herself for a while, but eventually I ended up with my birth dad's email, or he made an email or something, I can't remember, and a fake, and so we were emailing back and forth, and he was emailing, I made a new email, and we were emailing back and forth under what's it called, pseudonyms, so that my mom wouldn't find out. And then eventually I learned that he came to Colorado every summer on leave. He's in the Navy. My birth dad joined the Navy like the day he was supposed to ship out the day I was born. The day I was born, but they gave him that day to come see me in the hospital, and then he shipped out. So he had been in the Navy the whole time, but he came back every summer because his family was here, and he would visit my family as well without my mom knowing, because my mom didn't want anything to do with him, didn't want him in her life. There's a whole story that goes along with that I will tell sometime. I don't know when. But when I'm just trying to think, because I feel like maybe I wasn't 12. I feel like maybe I was 11 when they told me, and it was the next summer when I did turn 12 that I met him, because I know for sure I met him when I was 12. So I had to have been like 11. I'm sorry for misleading you. But yeah, so I was like 11 when they told me, and I was 12 when I met him, and I met him because my grandmother probably stubbornly agreed to introduce us. And I remember meeting him at a Wendy's because we were like, where are we going to meet? We can't get caught. We can't get found. Which was so funny because we were so afraid that we were going to get found out by my mom, who I don't talk to anymore. And we lived in the same city for forever, and I only saw her once. So I don't know why we were so worried. But you know, when you're doing something illegal or that you're not supposed to be doing, you're kind of paranoid. Well, at least I am, because I'm a horrible criminal. But I met him at a Wendy's. And I remember we were at this Wendy's. We had agreed to be at this Wendy's. And I remember sitting there scared out of my mind because I'm going to meet my dad for the first time ever. And I was still really confused, like, what's going on? Why did this happen? Like, why, you know? And this gigantic, not like gigantic fat, but like he's just a big, burly, like a guy you would expect to see on a Harley guy. And he doesn't have hair. I don't, did he have hair? He had hair. Now he doesn't have hair, but then he had hair. Walked in and I was just like, whoa. And he sat down and he had a whole bunch of gifts for me. One of them being a raccoon, a little stuffed animal raccoon that he kept on all of the ships with him, carried it around everywhere with him on deployments for me. And I still have that raccoon. He's in a box though, because I don't want him to get lost or ruined. So he's in a box. But I had that raccoon forever and Dad had it forever. And I just remember I met my birth dad at a Wendy's. At a Wendy's, you guys. That was crazy. And we had a secret relationship forever. And then my mom found out. And I can't remember when my mom found out. You know, I can't remember when my mom found out. I know she did, though. I know at some point she knew I knew my dad, but I can't remember. And this is the thing, like, this is why I'm making these videos and they're all out of order and they're all wacky, is because a lot of the stuff from my childhood I have blocked because it just was traumatic enough to block. I think I heard a car, or you know, it was just, I don't know, it was just traumatic enough, or I did it when the trauma happened when I was a teenager or what. But so I know she found out, but I don't remember when, because I go from her not knowing to her knowing, but I don't know when she found out. So sorry about that detail. But that is how I found out I was adopted and met my real dad in like the matter of a year. And I remember that day after Wendy's, we ate at Wendy's, and then we went to a place in Colorado called Garden of the Gods, and we hiked up the high rocks. And I will put a picture in, if I can, of me and my dad on the rock, because there's a rock that you used to be able to walk up, and then they took the railing and the stairs down and everything, but we got up there anyway, and it was super cool for a first, like, daughter daddy date kind of thing, meeting my dad. It was super awesome. So that is my story for tonight. I'm hitting 13 minutes, so I will let this one go, and I will see you all for the next one. Like I said, I don't know what it's gonna be. They're gonna be out of order. They're gonna be wonky. You're just gonna have to, you know, bear with me is the words, I guess, while I do this. So I'll talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye, guys.